What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm Justin Thomas. This is my channel. I own a company called Insurance Advertising Masters where we teach single member insurance agents that are still chasing people and feel like they're in a job and turn them into multi-agent insurance agencies that have people coming to them, real businesses. So we talk about that a lot on the channel, but I also talk a little bit about real estate, entrepreneurship, money, motivation, and everything in between that I'm interested in. So if you're new here, welcome. Today, we are going to be talking about anything new you start, you're probably gonna suck at it. And here's what I mean by that. I want to start off with a little bit of a story. So I have a 10-month-old son. His name is Fisher, and he is the cutest boy in the world. He is amazing. I love him. Part of the story is he's just now learning to walk. And he's been doing this process for probably about the last 3 months or so. It started with crawling, then it turned into pulling himself up on the couch, pulling himself up on the coffee table. Then from there, he would take one arm off and then two arms and then one step, then next, and he starts taking 2 to 3 steps and then 3 to 4 steps. And in between each one of those steps, he falls. And he falls a lot. If any of you have kids, you probably have been through this process as well. But there's even been some bumps and bruises throughout the entire process. When you're learning anything new, part of learning something new is that there's going to be falls and there's going to be bumps and bruises. And today I want to talk about how so many people, matter of fact, too many people, let the bumps and bruises and the falls keep them from ever walking in the first place. And I think it's kind of unfortunate because there are so many people that are not happy with their lives. They're not happy stuck in the job that they're doing. They're not happy having to get up at the same time every day, go to the same place every day. Even if it's remote now, go sit on the same computer for an arbitrary amount of time every single day. They don't like to work for a very specific amount of time. They get told what to do. And it's not just inside their job. Maybe they're unhappy with the, boyfriend or girlfriend that they're with, or the lack of having a boyfriend or girlfriend. Or maybe they are unhappy with, whatever it may be. A lot of times, a lot of people's problems in life do come down to financial and relationships, but there are other things as well too. And the thing that I want to talk about today is that so many people hear on YouTube, they hear on Instagram, they hear online that, if you are not happy about where you're at in life, you need to make a change. And a lot of people know that they need to make a change, but what they are unwilling to do is either suffer through the falls and the bumps and bruises in order to learn to walk and make that change. Or a lot of the times what happens is they're unaware. They don't have the proper expectations that there's going to be falls, that there's going to be bumps and bruises. And so when they encounter them, they stop and they give up. And I just wanted to use this story because I think it's the most perfect story because, I could be wrong, but I've never heard of a case of a child that's learning to walk, and because he or she falls 1 time, 2 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, that they just stop and they just decide, hey, this thing called walking, it's not for me. I'm done. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna be on my butt. I'm gonna be sitting or laying for the rest of my life. And unless there's some sort of medical condition that causes whatever it may be. I'm not trying to get into arguments here, but other than very random cases, that doesn't happen. So what is it about us that as we grow older, as we get more stuck in our ways, that we're unwilling to handle the bumps and bruises, the falls, or that we just don't have the expectations set properly? All right, so I'm gonna try and keep this short because oftentimes when I do these types of videos, I talk for way too long. So if you like the short videos, leave me a comment below that says we like the short videos. If you like the long videos, leave a comment that says long videos, because I actually am trying to figure out what you guys like, because sometimes I got them at 6 minutes, sometimes I'm at 30 minutes. So I do wanna know what you guys are looking for, but I do have a tendency to talk for a really long time. And I want to find out who likes that and who doesn't like that. But on this one, I'm going to try and keep it shorter. So here's the thing. I'm going to address all of you out there that are entrepreneurs, business owners, or want to at some point be those, because you're meant for more than what you're doing right now. Because that's a lot of the people that I encounter, and ultimately at the end of the day, those are the types of people that I want to help because they are in the situation that I was in myself. And I've been able to get out of that situation, praise God, and the faith that He gave me to get through all of the bumps and bruises that I have gone through in my own journey of creating my own business, quitting a job, quitting relying on other people, that, whether that be a job, a boss, whatever it may be, and just build the business that I was meant to build. But a lot of people don't get the chance to do it. And honestly, if they do get the chance to do it, they don't take the chance because they're scared or don't have the right expectations. So I'm gonna be addressing you entrepreneurs out there. So as entrepreneurs, there are 3 paths that we can go down. 2 paths lead to perseverance and the other path leads to quitting, right? The first path is that you are at this point unwilling to face the bumps and bruises and falls that are gonna come with you learning a new skill, a new business. And honestly, if it's a new business, it's a new skill now, but it's gonna be a new skill later, and continued new skill. So your ability to get to a point where you can withstand resistance, where you can take falls, where you can take bumps and bruises and get back up and keep going, that's one of the most important skills that you can have as a business owner, because most people don't have it, and a lot of the times it comes from them expecting all sunshine and rainbows and a yellow golden brick road that they're gonna walk down in order to achieve financial success and a scaled business and all the dreams that they've ever wanted. The problem is that if that's the expectation you have, any little bump in the road, anytime you take a fall, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna feel so much more. But let's go back to this. So the first thing is, if you're starting a new skill, if you're starting a business, you just have to realize that there are going to be bumps and bruises, and you have to be willing to go through them. As I said, as I started this out, my son probably at this point falls like 30 times a day, because every single 4 or 5 steps, he just falls back, loses his balance a little bit, gets right back up and keeps going. And it started with 3 to 4 steps, and now he can probably put together like 30 to 50 steps. And eventually he's gonna be able to put so many steps together that he rarely ever falls. And if he does fall, it happens so often that it baffles people, right? If I was just walking down the street right now at 27 years old and I fell, people would be like, oh, what happened? Because I have learned the skill of walking, that falling, the actual mistake of falling and getting a bump or a bruise from falling happens so rarely that it surprises people when that happens. But when I was learning to walk, or when my son is learning to walk, that's normal, that's expected. So first thing is, you have to figure out what's worth more. Is a few bumps and bruises and several falls, several hundred falls, even several thousand falls, is that worth what you're chasing after? It needs to be. At the end of the day, it just needs to be. So that's something that you have to sit with and realize is whatever you're going after. This can be anything. This could be learning to play the piano. This could be learning a new language. This could be learning to shoot a basketball. This could be learning to do advertising. This could be learning to do sales. It could be starting a business. It could be going out on a limb and investing your money, that your hard-earned money, into something, into a business, into something. There's so many applications to what I'm talking about today that we have all lost our ability to learn new skills because we are unwilling and afraid to be embarrassed and go through the falls and the bumps and bruises that comes along with it. So the first thing is, are you willing to push through it? And your thing that you're trying to do needs to be more worth it to you than the falls and the bumps and the bruises and the resistance, because resistance is guaranteed. The second path or thing you'll have to get over, whatever it may be, is having expectation for it. Because the thing is, if you don't expect it, if you're in a position where you feel like I said, like it's a golden yellow brick road that you're gonna travel down, there's gonna be no issues, no problems whatsoever. If you have that expectation, the second that you have the littlest issue, you have a stumble, you don't even have a full fall, you're going to have so much more resistance, because in your mind, you're immediately gonna be like, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Is that a sign that I shouldn't be doing this? You're gonna have so much internal attack that's going to come if you're expecting perfection right out the get-go, right out of the gate. And so if instead you come to this skill, whatever it is you're trying to learn, with reality and understand that, hey, there is going to be resistance, there are gonna be falls, there are gonna be bumps, there are gonna be bruises, and guess what? When they happen, I'm gonna pick myself up and I'm gonna keep taking the next step, because that's all that's required, is you pick yourself up and you take that next step. So if it's learning to advertise and you end up having a campaign that spends $100, you don't even get a single lead, Well, guess what? You can either quit or you can get back up and learn and take the next step. Learn how to put two steps together so you can keep moving forward. If it's a sales skill that you're trying to develop and you get hung up on, or you get cursed out, or you get told to get the heck off my porch, whatever it may be, you can either give up, or if your expectations are set right, you'll know it's coming. And then when it happens, you're going to be ready to receive it. You're going to be ready to jump over that obstacle. You're going to be ready to keep moving to the point where if it doesn't even happen, you'll be surprised. And when you are in a position, a lot of this, like what I'm talking about right now, reminds me of objection handling in sales. And I talk to my sales guys about this all the time, that the second that you get to the point where you are pitching, where you're basically dropping price, whatever it may be, you get to that pivotal point in the conversation, basically the close, where you're asking for something. If you are not an oak tree sitting there with extremely calm, controlled emotions, expecting an objection, you will always be taken off guard. And so you have to instead be there sitting and waiting and expecting the objection. You don't have to be sitting there antsy and like try to anticipate it before it happens. But if you're just expecting it, you won't be thrown off. And then you can handle it the way that you're trained and meant to handle it. But that's the same thing with everything that you're doing. If you come into a situation, you expect it, and the bump, bruise, fall doesn't happen, even better, right? At this point, I think when Fisher's walking around here, he probably expects that he's gonna fall a little bit. And then you can actually see it when he stumbles a little bit and then catches his balance. He's happy, right? He gets a little bit more energy. He gets a little bit more reinvigorated to keep going and keep walking. And that's what happens with us when we're all learning a skill, is that if you expect the bad things to happen and then you're able to dodge it a little bit or get past it, it gets you more energy and you just keep going and going and going. If you're unable to do those things, then the third path is that you're just gonna quit, right? And so when it comes to starting, a new business, learning a new skill, doing anything new, we have to understand that in order to walk, part of that journey includes falls, and it's typically gonna include bumps and bruises as well. So for any of you entrepreneurs out there, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below. Please subscribe to the channel. I know that when I was coming up, this type of video of people that had gone before me and experienced the falls, the stumbles, the bumps, the bruises, if they would have told me, hey, this is coming, and you just need to be ready to take it, it would have gotten me through it even easier. But I was willing. I was gonna go through any bump, any bruise, any fall, because my why was so big. And that's another important piece to the puzzle. So for all of you people out there, just starting your business, just starting maybe it's a self-employed job, you're just starting a new skill, whatever it may be, take this video and realize that the falls, the resistance, the stumbles, those are actually good signs that you're on the right track, and you just need to keep pushing through and moving through it. And eventually you'll look back and you'll be 100 yards down the field and you'll already be proficient at what you were trying to learn, and you'll be there before you even know it. All right, guys, see you on the next one.